The grand lobby of Hudson National Bank, a long-standing financial fortress in the heart of New York, felt more stifling than usual today. Sunlight streamed through the towering glass windows, illuminating the polished marble floors. But the air was thick with an invisible tension. Amidst the crowd of elegantly dressed people, Monica Harris, in deliberately ordinary attire, a baggy hoodie, faded blue jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over her face, looked completely out of place. But that displacement was by design. She had been waiting for nearly half an hour, 30 long minutes, enough time for her to observe. Right before her, a middle-aged white man in a sharp suit had just completed a $50,000 withdrawal. Brian had processed it with a broad smile, a few jokes about last night's game, and finished with a cheerful, "Have a great weekend." Not a single question about the purpose of the funds, not a single frown of suspicion. The difference in attitude was so stark it was almost comical. It was also enough time for her to feel that painfully familiar pang in her chest. The feeling that had followed her for 25 years in this industry, ever since she was the only black intern, right up until now. Finally, it was her turn. Brian, the young teller with slicked back hair, shot her a glance, barely hiding his annoyance. "What do you need?" he asked curtly. Monica calmly pushed the withdrawal slip through the slot. The number on it, $100,000. This amount wasn't random. It was the first disbursement for the Hudson Dream Fund, the scholarship fund she had fought to establish, specifically for talented young people of color from disadvantaged backgrounds. The thought of the young faces this fund would soon help strengthened her resolve. But Brian's eyes widened for a moment, then quickly shifted to blatant suspicion. He glanced quickly at Daniel, a more senior employee at the next counter, and lowered his voice to whisper, just loud enough for Monica to hear. $100,000? Does she look like she has that kind of money? Lots of scams like this lately. Stifled laughter rippled through a few nearby employees. The air grew thick with mockery. Monica clenched her fists inside her hoodie pockets. At the next counter, Sarah, the young female teller, turned pale. She avoided Rebecca's gaze, then, as if by accident, she dropped a pen onto the floor. The small clack briefly broke the tense silence. She bent down to pick it up, deliberately taking her time. Just then, Rebecca Adams, the branch manager, stepped out. Golden blonde hair, expensive business suit, lips pressed into a thin line. She crossed her arms, looking Monica up and down with a judging gaze. "Excuse me, $100,000 is a significant amount," Rebecca said, her voice high and cold. "Could you tell us the purpose of this withdrawal? Just security protocol." "Protocol?" Monica thought silently, anger beginning to simmer. "Explain to you. Explain that this money will light up the future for kids just like I once was? That your baseless suspicion is hindering that?" "No way. I don't believe I need to explain the purpose of my personal funds to you," Monica replied, her voice steady but carrying weight. The unexpected firmness seemed to further anger Rebecca. "Listen," she snapped, "we can't just hand out cash to just anyone who walks in here demanding such a large sum. Especially," she paused, her contemptuous gaze sweeping over Monica's clothes again, "in suspicious-looking cases." She forcefully pushed the withdrawal slip back towards Monica. "Your request is denied." The words felt like a slap in the face. All eyes in the lobby turned toward them. Some people looked annoyed by the delay. Others watched curiously. A few phones were discreetly raised. Silence fell. waiting for Monica's reaction. But Monica just quietly pulled out her phone. Her hand trembled slightly with suppressed anger. She dialed a familiar number. "Jonathan?" Her voice rang out, clear and steely in the silence. "Red flag situation at the central branch. Need your presence." Just one sentence. No explanation. Rebecca smirked contemptuously, about to call security. But less than 7 minutes later, 7 minutes stretched taut, the main doors burst open. Jonathan Wells, the regional executive director, rushed in like a storm, slightly out of breath, his expression stern. He marched straight to the counter, his gaze sharp as a dagger aimed at Rebecca. "Rebecca," Jonathan's voice boomed like thunder. "Do you have any idea what you've just done? Do you know who you were just speaking to?" Rebecca turned pale, stammering, "Jonathan, it was just this customer." "Customer," Jonathan nearly shouted, pointing towards Monica, who had now calmly removed her baseball cap. Her familiar face was revealed under the bright lights. "This isn't this customer. This is Monica Harris, the CEO of Hudson National Bank. Your boss. All of our boss." The entire lobby seemed frozen, then erupted in irrepressible whispers. A few customers gaped in astonishment. The white man who had withdrawn money earlier looked bewildered. An older black woman in the waiting area nodded slightly, a discreet smile playing on her lips. Others hastily looked away, pretending not to care, but clearly paying attention. Rebecca stood rooted to the spot, her face ashen. Brian and Daniel were wide-eyed, in utter panic. Sarah looked astonished, but there was a hint of relief in her eyes. "Check the security cameras immediately," Jonathan ordered. The footage replayed the entire incident. Undeniable. The condescending attitude, the prejudiced whispers, the stark contrast with the previous customer, and the unreasonable denial. The decision was swift. "Rebecca Adams, Brian Miller, Daniel Peterson," Jonathan announced coldly, "you are terminated, effective immediately." The three stumbled away under security escort. Then Jonathan turned to Sarah. "What's your name?" "Sarah," she murmured. "Sarah, effective immediately, you will temporarily assume the position of branch manager." Sarah was stunned. Monica then stepped forward. Her gaze swept over the remaining staff. "Today was a hard lesson," Monica said, her voice resonating through the lobby. "Hudson National Bank is built on a foundation of respect and fairness. This isn't the first time I've heard complaints about attitudes like this at some branches, about implicit biases that have taken root too deeply. But I assure you this will be the last time it will be tolerated at Hudson National Bank. Discrimination in any form has no place here. Anyone who cannot adhere to that principle, anyone who judges others by their appearance or skin color, does not belong here. Change or be eliminated. No exceptions." She paused, looking directly into each person's eyes. "Remember this day." The air in the bank was still thick, but now it was with fearful respect and a newly ingrained awareness. A new era had just begun at Hudson National Bank, starting with the protection of the core values and the dreams it pledged to serve.